probably would have said, like, let's get to know you and your goals. Let's get to know what makes you you, and let's see what we can put into place to allow you to be your best self.
He just took off on that one, and he might have just won the game for him.
Aren't going to go anywhere, so let's lower our expectations now so that it doesn't hurt later.
So it's not about lowering the expectations, it's about changing.
It's about changing. It's adapting. And saying to a kid, like, who you are right now, what you're capable of now, is not going to be what you're capable of in 4 months, 6 months, 4 years.
It's a short-sighted view.
Yeah, so let's do what we can now to celebrate the heck out of you and see how much you can do. And, like, I went to go audition for the school play, and I remember the director laughing and saying, "Are you kidding me?" and, like, having me leave the theater.
I've seen the "are you kidding me" type people, but I've also seen the awe people.
Yeah.
And we talked about that when you were in MIT. You're not a fan.
No, this word inspiration is one of my least favorite words. I think being inspired is great. I think we often have this desire to hold up people with disabilities as an inspiration for just living their life. I think we should be celebrate when someone sets goals and pushes themselves and tries to, break down barriers. That's something that we can be inspired by, but so often in my life, I remember being in, like, my boarding school bathroom and someone being I'm really proud of us that we're going pretty easily back and forth between serious and wildly inappropriate and joking.
If you walk into one of my patient encounters when we're talking about cancer, yeah, and we're talking about, like, cancer, this is what it is. Do you think this is a good healing environment?
For the people it works for, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't force jokes on someone who's not. Like, if you weren't feeling this vibe,
right,
you would adjust. I wouldn't be in a job.
You follow someone's lead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There are so many people who, like, I did a show this week, and I was at the funny parts. I have, like, a one-woman show where I talk about my life growing up with Tourette's and how I turned that into, like, my favorite thing about me, and I was doing it on stage, and someone yelled, "We're not supposed to laugh at this!" Like, one of the people were laughing. Like, he was in the audience. He was a young man who I believe had a disability. But I had to stop and be like, no. I'm like Tinkerbell. Like, you clap and laugh and I get life. I was like, this is what I need.
So this is this is a line that I think people don't understand. Because I think for the average person sitting at home, and I don't want to think for everybody, but I could easily put myself in someone's shoes who, let's say, is going to work, hits some traffic, and is like, F my life, I'm so stressed out, my life sucks, I got a flat tire today, and then they go home and there's a commercial on TV where it's like, our children don't have drinking water, and they're like, oh my God, my life is so great, and I need to compare and contrast. So I can see how that person can then look at a person who's going through difficulties in life and say, you're an inspiration. Do they mean that in a negative way? Probably. Like, intent. Do you think they are?
No, I really don't think people mean it in a negative way. I think it's just, like, it's not the disability community.
Tua's made one pass this entire day, and his other two that he didn't make have both been interceptions. I mean, this man's about to throw a pick six. Or they just ain't not let him throw the ball. Finally, he's made a pass. It was an 8-yarder, but still, finally.
His job to make you feel better about your life.
You don't like people pity.
Yes.
And as a result of that, they can hire.
Yeah, I don't want to be pitied. I think most people don't want to be pitied.
Yeah, I think, like...
I'm already done with that now. I've been watching it the entire time. Ooh, video.
They rebuilt Turkey so this movie can drag on for another 40 minutes. Only problem with the rebuild is that they somehow lost his penis. To make up for the missing member, Turkey gives himself a chainsaw kick and delivers the villain's body after a piece of roughness. Great. Turkey cuts his way to the house with string cheese. Kids loving it. Really string cheese. What the fuck is happening? Fuck you. No, fuck you, Thanksgiving 3.
Ooh, Black Friday.
Follows the North Star fragment to find something gross and pulsating. It splooges his face with a tube.
Sir, do you have a phone?
Yeah? What about it?
Give this man 712. What? You said not enough?
Is that just JonTron?
Was finally transformed off screen. This is one of those nasty movies when it comes to kills. I don't know transformations, but only if the main characters were featured extras. I'm not gonna
how are you guys leaving this open?
in the background. The especially since it'd probably be inconsistent. Loungy holiday music plays over Gaussian blurred, public domain-looking holiday havoc. It's like a lesser version of Krampus's opening, which also featured retail hysteria. This is the shopping hell of Black Friday, which will soon be arriving at We Love Toys. Co-workers Ken and Chris are carpooling there for their late-night shift.
Come into the ring. 22 needles. Weighing 35 pounds. Like an absolute vegetarian. Chris Kentucky!
They're the ultimate Halloween stoner. He's a divorced dimension, the OG FD precog, and the ultimate Halloween stoner. He's a divorced dad who's been working at We Love Toys for 10 years, and is bummed he had to drop his daughters off at their mom's for Thanksgiving. Chris has only worked there for 2 years, earning money for the rent his wealthy parents charge him. Inexplicably, he's introduced with below-the-shoulder shots that hide his face, looking like the panicky pair of boobs in Airplane. I don't understand this directing decision. What do they think this is? And work crush Marnie, resident Universal Soldier Archie, elderly employee Rue, corporate kiss-ass Anita, who, like Lucy, is their employee of the month. Sorry, Zoran. How could I say no to this? It's already shaping up.
Why am I not the employee of the month, though?
Making its way through customers and employees. This humbug is a result of meteor showers in the area, but Slacker Bircher ain't interested in following that news. He'd rather watch Curse of Chucky, a reference to Sawa's twin roles in the Toys TV series. Bircher steps out for a smoke break, where this smoker's ass gets smoked by an unseen assailant. Guy should have listened to the sign. Back inside, floor manager Brian gathers the employees for an announcement. Like Chris, regional manager Jonathan is also introduced with a slow reveal. But this time it makes sense, since it's the chin himself, Bruce Campbell, who also produced the film. Jonathan's a stingy, cowardly boss who tells his staff their breaks won't be paid. Not very groovy, and against type for Campbell, who specifically did not want to play Ash Williams again. As the clock strikes midnight, they let the customers inside. This montage should be a shot of energy, but instead it mostly falls flat. Feels like everyone's just kind of pretending. And of course, not helped by the lack of extras. Plus, because of the small budget, Black Friday couldn't afford licensing fees for real toys, and they had to use royalty-free holiday music that was made by director Casey Tebow and Roger. This is only Tebow's second narrative feature. He previously directed music videos and concert films. Specifically, a lot of stuff with Aerosmith. Tebow, who comes from a graphic design background, said he wanted to make a movie that young horror fans would enjoy. I think he mostly succeeds. I could see myself loving this as a 13-year-old. Chris is in a sticky situation at the cash register, not helped by this rude fucking broad.
Will you hurry up? Ma'am, I'm trying.
Oh, Dennis, I got this deck.
Chris is a germaphobe, which routinely affects his work performance, but an unsympathetic Brian still orders him to clean up puke. Better break out that weird-smelling sawdust, dude. But this ain't your bog-standard barf. It's some alien gunk spewed by an alien hunk. A sick shopper who was shown outside earlier with his wife. Now they're both xenomorphed into rage zombies. Chris manages to subdue the hostile shoppers, but his violent actions get him tied up by his co-workers.
This is a citizen's arrest.
They seriously zip tie him to a chair? What the fuck? With the store clearing out due to Chris's kerfuffle, Ken takes a radical break from training new employee Emmett. Emmett wanders off and finds a sick customer, but when he moves to help her, she gets handsy and gives him a Spider-Man kiss, and not the sexy upside-down kind. Ken fights her off so he and Emmett can go to the back, where they corroborate Chris's claims that something is seriously wrong with the shoppers. Jonathan joins them, rocking his style that's, like, honestly, man, it's like halfway to Hitler. He tries to dismiss the situation, concerned about the profits they're losing, but the others become convinced when Emmett starts spitting up toothpaste. Minty! Anita tries to help, but he Frenches her with his alien tongue. He joins the count when he finishes transforming into a screamy Mimi mutant. The workers hold him off with a cake from the break room.
Hey! Corporate sent that!
But it's Archie and his nail gun that sends Emmett scampering away. With the cops unavailable, the group calls a neighboring store. Sounds like the Woodfield Mall location.
Hello, Schoenberg.
Hello? Oh my god. Our shoppers are going crazy.
Damn, this thing's going off them. What?
What's up? Ready? Set up like this.
Screenwriter Andy Krasnowiak was inspired by working at a Toys R Us in the Chicagoland area. which is why the characters name drop Chicago suburbs like Schaumburg and Bartlett. However, the film takes place in Boston and was largely shot in a former Babies R Us in Attleboro, Massachusetts. Director Tebow wanted to shoot in his home state and employ local cast and crew. Respect for that. Anita starts mutating as well, getting her added to the kill count. The workers flee back onto the floor, where they discover a legion of killer customers, one of whom is dragging an employee sold for 50% off. Archie figures these holiday hooligans are spawning from the employee end. He takes a gamble, recruiting Brian and Chris to venture into the dark night and seal off the store. Ken takes the rest of the group to hunker down in the office, then leaves for an unpaid bathroom break, which Jonathan tags along for. While Ken is fetching his bathroom booze, Mrs. Max style, he's reminded that he let a truck driver back here earlier. This guy Lou, looking and sounding like Tom Anderson from Beavis and Butthead.
Bathroom. Hey. What are you doing, man?
God, you can see the squiggly outlines on this guy. A now infected Lou emerges and attacks Ken, straight up throwing him through the wall into the ladies' room. This is an all-genders bathroom now. Jonathan tosses Ken a piece of his broken booze bottle, which Ken uses to stab the infected Lou through the neck. Back on the floor, Archie and his jugheads strip through the way too empty holiday housekeeping. Not much of a sense of danger here, until Brian pops the silence. That brings around two infected shoppers, who Archie handily handles. He kills one with a nail gun before she can attack Chris, and bashes down another that tries to run in through the side door. Archie is played by Michael Jai White, a martial artist actor probably best known as Spawn, or as a damn good Jax in Mortal Kombat Legacy. Ruth and Marty watch the security cams and see the boys going off the exit. Then Marty notices the shoppers are congregating somewhere else in the store. She follows them to Santa's Village, a display section that's been harboring some goopy alien spores. Those spores have now hatched into a blob-looking pink mass, and as Marty watches, two shoppers let it grow by slithering their way into the galactic chewing gum. Anyone got head and shoulders for this thing? One very out-of-place wipe later, Marty shares this discovery with her co-workers. She figures the customers outside won't stop coming until they reach the pink parachute mask. Ken is fed up with this Christmas craziness, so he tries to grab his holiday bonus and leave. He finds the bonus drawer full of nothing, though. Not even a subscription to the Jelly of the Month Club. Jonathan reveals that there are no bonuses this year, which earns him a big lump of coal. The argument is interrupted by Rue, who spots a maniac cop car approaching the store. Her excitement is flattened when the cruiser comes crashing through the front, its driver already dead. Both of them are added to the count, and the movie can continue on a bit more ruthless. The breach allows the holiday horde to get inside, so the remaining employees scatter in an attempt to get away. Archie once again rescues Chris from an attack by sticking a screwdriver into an infected shopper's eye. But then Archie gets bitten on the arm, and I guess that'll also cause an infection? Sure. Archie bunkers down and buys Chris some time, going all Bronze Tiger on two more shoppers with his wall martial arts. He doesn't fare as well against the final boss, this Grinch-looking mutant who's been making raptor sounds. You know, for real though, that sound like a dinosaur. Injured, Archie staggers for a few steps before getting webbed in the head. Chris witnesses this and, wait, Chris, why the fuck are you still here, man? I guess he didn't want to miss Archie's exit wounds. Chris is chased by a monstrously mutated entity who's played by Louis Kurtzman. Since he's the son of makeup artist Robert Kurtzman, they already had his body and head cast from previous projects. Chris makes it to the loading dock, where Marty beats the new hire with a wrench. She bashes him a plenty, so maybe I should put him on the couch.
They never really did.
Alright, he stays off the couch. Jin's orders. The lights go out, so the survivors gather around a crate of novelty lights. They bond with each other about how they came to work in retail. Their testimonies range from tragically realistic,
I'm laid off. Life is temporary.
to a naked appetite for power.
This is my place. You can reprimand somebody, and they have to listen to you.
Chris complains that this toy dreamland is nothing more than a spiritual breakdown.
It's a prison. It's a ruse. It's a lie.
Chris's actor Ryan Lee is probably best known for his younger appearances in Super 8 and Goosebumps. I also thought he was hilarious in the sadly short-lived Trophy Wife. He's joined here by a fellow former child actor playing Marnie, Ivana Bacaro, who you've probably seen in Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth. Determined to have one last Thanksgiving dinner, Marnie fetches some deli meat out of the fridge. Give me some turkey, baby. It's a nice moment, until an argument breaks out between Chris and Ken. Ken calls Chris a waste of potential, and Chris says Ken treats this job like a it's high school, and he's the cool popular guy. But I don't know if that's true.
I will fucking kill you, nerd.
Never mind. Bit of a Flight 180 turn for your character there, pal. I have issues with this script and some character inconsistencies, but I do think this is the best scene of the movie. It works because the actors get to engage with their characters on a deeper level than just jokes and plot movement.
You got a lot to learn, kid.
Kid. You're not your kid. You see me way too often to be your actual child.
Chris brings up Ken's courtship of the much younger Marnie, who admits that she thinks of Ken as nothing more than a Delphi makeout bud.
Passes the time.
With the mood sufficiently soured, they decide to look for a way out. They realize Lou's truck is still parked in the loading bay, and Marnie remembers him saying that the keys were still in the ignition. Their planning is interrupted by the infected Emmett, who survived his earlier beating.
I told you they never die.
That you did, Bruce. That you did. Even with Emmett's new set of choppers, Ken's able to put him down with some help from Brian. They finally add him to the count via beating with a nearby tool bag. Ken hasn't emerged unscathed, though. He finds a bite mark on his arm, meaning he'll soon be a friendly ghost. Chris and Marnie try to think of a solution, but Ken opts to stay behind, even though he had just been talking about surviving to see his daughters again. The rest of the crew heads off for Lou's truck as Ken waits around for the infection to take him. He passes the time with Dower Dennis, a malfunctioning recalled toy voiced by Sawa's Idle Hands co-star Seth Green.
Been a long day. Been a long day.
Green.
Elegir T-Móvil es como esperar por ella. Pero recibir esto lleva mucho más. Cámbiate ahora y llévate el nuevo Samsung Galaxy Flip gratis. Recibe más con T-Mobile.
You may have to rent a bank account to be able to afford Chizuru, but luckily, Opera GX is 100% free. My girlfriend looks absolutely amazing in this animated wallpaper. Don't worry though, you guys can stare at her too. Just right-click, get more wallpapers, and there she is, waiting for you every time you open the browser. Opera GX allows me to...
Oh, I need that.
This as a favor for his friend, director TiVo, who is credited as a producer on Green's directorial debut, Changeland. Green recorded his Dower Dennis lines in an hour over Zoom. Ken's attention is drawn to a banging near the doors. It's the super mutant shopper who killed Archie. This creepy crawler is actually the angry grandma who yelled at Chris earlier. She was last seen sitting above the pink blob, back when it looked more like Nimbar. With the confirmation that this monster was an established character, I'll put her infection on the count. While Granny Grinch's human form was played by Peg Holzimer, her infected form is portrayed by Mark Steger. This experienced creature actor has been on the kill count before, as a couple of monsters in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and as the Demogorgon in Stranger Things. The creature, credited as Monster Angry Gran, was designed to be vulture-like in its appearance, showing what TiVo thinks of Black Friday shoppers. The SLC punk roller skates away and tosses Dennis as a distraction. The malfunctioning toy sparks up and starts a fire. Good thing they recalled this infant incinerator. Thing was too dour for kids anyway.
My wife left me, so I guess we can do whatever.
All of a sudden, the other surviving employees are in Lou's truck, or at least a set that's supposed to be a truck.
What?
Really wish this movie had more money. Chris wriggles through a roof hatch and gets outside, but attracts the attention of an infected Bircher. Ironically, this Bircher seems to be for collectivism, since he brings a horde to Chris's location. Chris can't figure out how to start Lou's truck, forcing him to retreat back to the others. With aliens punching their way in, the group is forced back into the warehouse, which is filled with smoke from the Dower Dennis fire. They comment on the smoke, but we're never given a reverse shot to show the danger. I hate watching people talk about things we can't see.
I can't see anything.
Yeah, us neither, dude. And all of a sudden they're on the roof. Sure, whatever. With the fire spreading in the store and the off-brand Deadites blocking their escape hatch, Jonathan decides he's had enough of this alien apocalypse. He offers to give his life to save the others, even though literally 5 minutes ago he was ready to sacrifice Brian.
Well, unfortunately, these things are hungry, and well, you're the slowest and the juiciest.
This last-minute face turn wasn't in the original script and was added by director Casey TiVo. With the final fuck you to holiday shoppers, he takes a hairy kickball into the crimson crowd, though Campbell is spared the usual geyser of blood that comes with trapdoor-related deaths. Not sure why, but in the wake of Jonathan's death, Brian feels compelled to make a confession. I did Ken. Yep, turns out Ken's bite mark was actually from Brian, meaning, like Santa, his infection isn't real. Sorry, kids. Marnie gets mad and starts starts a fight that knocks her and Brian off the roof. The good news is, they've accidentally found a way to escape. The bad news is, at least for germophobic Chris, their landing pad is a pile of garbage. Chris is hesitant to jump, but the pink mass bursting through the roof gives him a helpful push. Back inside, Ken gets some service on his phone and discovers his family is safe at an evacuation site. His victory is short-lived, since the monster Gran grabs him. She drags him onto the main floor, where this cotton candy blob is reaching Clownzilla proportions. As Ken watches, Gran gives herself over to the growing mass. He hits her with his skate as a parting fuck you. Outside, the remaining crew witnesses what that pink glob's been growing into. A giant melty kaiju that would send any Power Ranger packing. It could only have one name.
It's Mom fucking Kong.
Mama Kong? How the hell did they not go with Karen Kong? It was right there. This thing is a practical suit worn by an actor, shot against a green screen to make them 80 feet tall. Kurtzman was thrilled to work on it. Brian decides that it's his turn to become uncharacteristically heroic, down with customer service, only for the alien monster to flick Brian away like a paper football at the kids' table. Ken manages to escape the flaming toy store and reunite with his work friends in the parking lot. Like all good roller skaters, he's got a brand new key to his car, that is, so they can get away. Unless this Cloverfielder strikes them out first. Chris gets an idea and has Ken distract the not-so-little giant while he makes a run to a nearby forklift, whose driver met a chewy off-screen end. Unlike Lou's truck, Chris does know how to operate a forklift. You mentioned getting certified earlier, and if he's like my buddy Rick, he'll never shut up about it either. Love you, Rick. Chris starts driving the forklift towards the giant monster, which whips onto the vehicle as Chris sets it in reverse. The creature strains to pull in its prey, and when Chris leaps from it, it yanks the forklift straight into its face. Well, one of its faces. There must have been some tetanus on those metal tines, since the eye stab is enough to collapse this Christmas kaiju back into the flaming wreckage. I know this thing is made up of a bunch of infected shoppers, but I'm still only counting it as one kill. It's fine. With the immediate threat neutralized, the survivors pile into Ken's car. Movie ends as the trio drives to greener pastures, passing by a couple of other giant creatures that watch them from neighboring stores. How many people got slashed like prices on Black Friday? Let's find out and get to the numbers. But first, I gotta be a boss. Attention, Dead Meat Team. Yes, attention, Dead Meat Team. This is your boss, James A. Janice, broadcasting over the mandatory home PA system that I made you all install. Just letting you know that this year there will be no holiday bonuses, at least in money form. Instead, I'll be giving you Chucky dolls. We have way too many of them in this house. And Chelsea doesn't like it when I bring them to bed with us. So, thank you. Have a good day.
But I already have one of those. Typical Chucky.
But I already have one of those.
Kills or
Typical Chucky.
Characters in Black Friday. The victims included
Let's see
when
this
I bring
again.
them to bed with us. So, thank you. Have a good day.
But I already have one of those. Typical Chucky.
I counted 26 kills or transformations of actual characters in Black Friday. The victims included 13 males, 12 females, and one big old kaiju thing. That gives us this pie chart, but since it's the day after Thanksgiving, let's have a second pie, showing how 15 victims were people who got killed or infected, 10 victims were infected people getting killed, and again, one was a giant kaiju thing. With a runtime of 84 minutes, we had a kill on average every 3.23 minutes.
What?
That mega monster at the end. If only.
What, Mom? No. Here it is. There. I'm pretty sure that's what people call a passing of appearance, man. Hey, look at this. So he throws the ball. So here's Ayuk. This man, Ayuk. That isn't pass interference. Literally having your arm stopping the guy by it being directly where his arm is. That he needs to do that. Yes. I understand perfectly.
this insane-looking practical creature. Golf is ready for Lehman's kill. Go to Brian, since his actions felt unmotivated, and it's a bloodless flick. And that's it. Black Friday was released in 2021, just a week before the actual holiday. We're back to weekly episodes now, so tune in Friday for Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Until then, I'm James H.
When did this come out? 3 days ago. Dang it. God damn it. Cage grabs, what?
A Corona and palm trees.
A Corona and calm seas.
And a bomb breeze.
And our strong knees.
It's Andy. It's Snoop.
And we're eating Guam cheese.
Guam cheese?
Yeah, I don't know. I ran out of rhymes.
Bench.
There it is, Stacey saying.
Oh, he got the fence! He grabbed the fence. He held the fence to keep him up. That's very bad. It's very bad. You can't grab the fence like that to stop the takedown.
What do you think? Do you think
I mean, that's bad.
you go
That's
straight
bad.
point there?
You were going. He was actually going. I thought the takedown was complete, but he was holding the fence. The fence actually held him up. That's a bad foul.
Driving some knees into the thigh. He's got him up. Nope. Oh, did Aldo grab the fence? I believe he did. Mario warns him. Gets him down briefly for a second. He briefly does, but Mendes reconnects him and he's free. That's it! Try to finish it! And it is all over!
Be able to put the tactic that you want in place right at the beginning of the night. But now that tactic is starting to be put in place by Arlovsky. Brink very active though.
Ooh, nearly had it on. Still might have that opportunity. There it is.
Extra tap.
How quick was
It's
that?
over! The Russian, the Sambo master.
Jacare looking for the takedown. Yoel has his left. Jacare goes in deep. Yoel defends. Battle of upper body strength now. Looking for a little trip. Holding on to the fence. Mark Goddard came over. Yoel on top. What happened? He held on to the fence, Joe.
Stand up! You got top position because of it. I took it away. You understand me?
Wow.
Do it again. Once more. Take that point.
And again, much is made of Mike Perry not having traditional coaches in his corner, but he feels like he knows what to do.
With Mark. And the more time goes on, there's a single. He's got the leg. Chasing him down. You got a hold of him. Mark trying to hold the fence. Great job by Dan Murgliano.
Any idea what they're saying in the corner, Brendan?
No, French was not my language.
What was?
Well, you know, I pretended to learn Spanish just for a couple of years so you could pass.
You know, and the lesson learned. You can't go out there and not.
Stop grabbing the fence.
It's always where they're supposed to be. So when you attack, if you weren't in position, he is dropping some big shots on Sean O'Malley.
Who is showing off a hell of a chin tonight.
Head takedown. That's when guys go for guillotines, DC.
Jeff, I just don't think anyone.
He's working for a choke.
That could be a choke, but Fry able to use the fence to get out.
Oh, great move by Fry.
2 minutes gone by in round one. Another shot from Maya here. A little bit too strong so far.
Good left hand landed by Maya.
Maya again, grabbing the leg, and Woodley avoids it.
And Woodley grabs the fence again.
This is technical wrestling by Woodley. He's going to cut the corner and then takes the pressure off the ceiling. Tomorrow's bad. Ready? Tomorrow's about to get taken down. I grabbed the cage. I grabbed the cage. I was taking him down. I just know he said that.
Something you want to talk to me about? I don't know, is that? Tell me.
You know, you put my name in your mouth. Something you want to talk to me
When
about?
your boy was saying, talking about him pulling his hair, whatever, I was like, he's like, y'all right there? I ain't got nothing to argue with you about, bro.
Exactly.
You're gonna see the fight.
You got nothing
and
to
you'll
say.
see.
Keep my name out your mouth.
He can put y'all in one shot.
Usman getting away with a little interlock of the fingers in the fence. Now Gordon
Who's monkey? Oh, hello, well, I didn't have my thing open, so I couldn't see your messages.
Here we go, set. Here we go.
Oh, 4 viewers. Wait, what? Huh? 4? Something's wrong. I can feel it. It's just a feeling I have that something's bad happened, but I don't know what. Just pops up with a raid like, you have been raided by this person with 5 viewers. I would just laugh. Like, look, I'm getting raided. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Hey, what? This man just right there. Flop. It'd been hilarious. Like, it's like one of the 4 people in my chat were like, I'm gonna raid this person. Shit, he knew.
Glitch. Glitches.
Smash and grab, okay then. He got himself open there. Oh, if no one's in my chat now, I can just go back to YouTube.
Here we go. It changes the fight. Ready.
The holidays are back on.
To release and allow the urine to come out, then your kidneys are to explode. And by not going to pee with... Guys, I know you think we're as puzzled as you think. But today I finally found the gate. You can actually cause like that urinary stasis to continue and develop infections.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's what happens with the donor.
Actually, his kidneys were fine yesterday when he had his annual checkup.
I love that he's having X-ray showing the kidneys as the same visual as the spine. No, bones and kidneys do not light up the same. Look at any real X-ray.
I don't feel this guy.
Well, yeah, he needs to be on dialysis, sir, or get a kidney transplant stat. You can't live without a kidney.
There's got to be something I can do to help my dad. A kidney.
You see, the wait for a kidney is very long.
Yeah, in America, on average, if you are on the donor list to get a kidney, usually takes a few years, 3 to 5 years.
Oh, thank you, son. I'll take your left one. Good thing, stringy. No, the right one's not without its charm.
You really can't feel the kidneys like that. And the fact that he has no kidneys and still moving around is sus.
Well, I got it.
He's a magician.
Great. We'll clear this out. Making polenta, that's a procedure. You're talking about deadly, life-threatening surgery.
Yeah, no, it's not deadly, but it's definitely a risk. And you have to get pre-operative clearances by a family medicine doctor. That's what I would do. And what's interesting is when you put in a kidney, you don't put it in the back. You put it in the front, in the lower abdomen.
Point is, only one kidney.
Okay, drink yourself stupid. I mean, someone can drink alcohol. The idea is that you're at a much higher risk because you don't have a backup kidney. So you want to respect that kidney, meaning you don't want to overuse non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. You don't want to consume nephrotoxic substances. You want to make sure that you're always well hydrated. Feel me?
Plus, they'll put you on one of those organ donor sucker lists. Everybody who wants an eyeball or a spine or a vestigial tail will be after you.
I'm an organ donor, proud organ donor. Why aren't you? Change your license today. Can you imagine you could be one of the lucky people that gets one of my organs? I'm just saying. That's like better than merch. Hey, I got a Dr. Mike shirt. By the way, you can get this stuff. Hey, I got Dr. Mike's eyeball. I win.
I got his bead.
Can I have fun with my joke? God! By the way, I gotta just spell out rumor. People think that if they get into an accident or they're sick, and if you go to the emergency room and they see you're an organ donor, they don't take good care of you. That's absolutely false. Zero have I ever heard of that. And if I did, do you think I probably would not make myself an organ donor?
What if instead of donating one of my old, worn-out kidneys, I gave Grandpa that artificial kidney I invented?
Oh, that was just a beer can with a whistle glued to it. Remember why you're doing this. It's for your father, the man who raised you and nurtured you.
You know what's interesting? When you get a renal transplant, you end up having to take immunosuppressive medication for the rest of your life. But still, the evidence looks like getting the kidney transplant, you live a longer life than someone who has to undergo dialysis multiple days of the week. And odds are you'll have a higher quality of life because you don't have to always go for dialysis.
I love you, son. I love you, Dad.
Now, don't you fellas worry. This'll all be over.
What's the name of Justin Bieber's girlfriend? Selena Gomez had a kidney transplant from her friend, right? Excuse me. I'm still mourning the loss of that relationship.
What the? We gotta get rid of that window.
Don't worry about old Grandpa. I'm going to a better place.
I just don't understand why they can't put him on dialysis. We have a lot of patients in the United States who are considered end-stage renal disease. They go on dialysis and they don't live a typically normal life. They have a lower quality of life because they have to be tied to the dialysis center. But they're alive.
I'm sorry, Dad. The way I behaved was shameful. I guess fear made me run away, but love made me come back.
Oh, Homer, they stink a tiny bit.
Oh, son of a... Oh, son of a...
Boy,
He's waking up. Oh, I'm so glad you're all right.
hey!
While we were setting your broken bones, putting your blood back in, we helped ourselves to a kidney and gave it to your father.
You don't help yourself to a kidney. You just have to sign off on that. You know what's pretty dark? In some countries, they actually sell organs. That's like a well-known black market for organ trading.
I know you're a little peeved at Grandpa, Dad, but you've done a wonderful thing. Someone else might have a slight
He didn't shorten his lifespan. Come on, Mark.
I don't need you, kidney. I have everything I need right here. Here we go, Jack!
Here's what happens when you eat McDonald's and only McDonald's for 30 days. Click here to check that out. As always, stay happy at home.
Here we go!
Hey, it's your skin. I crave taking control of this acne. CeraVe Acne Control Cleanser unclogs...
Get that sponsored by Mint Mobile and BetterHelp.
Deku, My Hero Academia's super student straight out of UA High. Asuka, the anti-magical ass kicker from Black Clover. Though you may be born bereft of the same gifts as your peers, there is nothing stopping you from achieving your dreams.
As long as you're a fictional character in a fantasy world. I mean, as long as you've got your friends by your side, you'll pack a hell of a punch. He's
Yeah, Mom.
Does this permit shirt fit you still?
Let me see.
I don't think so. Home one was the one.
Probably gonna be a home one.
Yes, and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Izuku Midoriya wanted only one thing from life: to be a beacon of hope, just like his idol, the #1 ranked superhero in Japan, All Might.
Too bad he was born a freak with no powers. You heard right. This is like a reverse X-Men thing where 80% of the population gets red superpowers, or quirks as they're called, while the remaining fifth are stuck as basic bitches, or as his spiky-haired bully Bakugo called him, Deku.
That's a pun on the Japanese word dekunobu, meaning good for nothing.
Persevering despite his basic bitchedness, Midoriya got the chance to prove his quirkless heroic mettle against this giant sludge monster, much to the surprise of one particular almighty onlooker.
His body secretly decaying from a horrific injury, All Might needed to find the one who would inherit his all-powerful quirk.
And All Might didn't want just anybody. The hero world was filled with glory seekers in it for fame and money. All Might wanted someone whose body moved on its own to save someone.
Exactly that. Hurry! And gave him one of the most powerful quirks in the world. One for all.
That was the problem. Even after Vulcan's classic jam, recoil from even one punch would shatter all the bones in his arm. So he trained to be able to handle his gift at the superhero school of the street, UA High.
And that's when he decided to own the name used as a cudgel against him for so many years. Turns out, Deku can also be an abbreviation for Dekiru, someone who can do anything.
Exactly the opposite of Dekunobu. One for all allows Deku to release absolutely absurd amounts of strength from different parts of his body, with super moves named after U.S. cities and states.
Deku still can't access all of his power safely, though. Using 100% will completely destroy his body, which is why he learned to distribute his strength evenly across his body, a technique known as full power. This lets him increase his speed and durability as well, making him more all-rounded, and shifting focus to his own interpretation of One For All inspired by his pal Ida, Shoot Style.
Where he pulls out a clock and blows your brains out. Okay, not really, but in keeping with One For All's rabbit theme, he trades All Might's signature punches for kicks. My version's better. You ever seen Rabbit vs. Gun? I have, and I know how it plays out.
Considering the much higher muscle mass of a human's legs, Shoot Style allowed Deku to output even more power while giving his arms a break. A break from a break.
And despite being a classic melee build, Deku can fight at range by punching powerful gusts of air, and even precisely aim them with specially designed gloves.
Deku has an encyclopedic knowledge of quirks, and is always analyzing their strengths and weaknesses mid-battle, even if he does sound a little weird.
Despite only barely getting accepted in the first place, Deku quickly became one of Class 1A's most dependable fighters. Yeah, somehow these students are constantly getting drafted into literal wars against murderous supervillains.
Midoriya's successes in battle against ruthless criminals like Stain, Muscular, and Overhaul came much to his old bully's chagrin. Where Bakugo was a child prodigy, he now found himself overshadowed by his hard-working rival, and the two would use their mutual respect and animosity to motivate each other to get stronger.
Classic frenemies. They're only solving their problems by pounding the living tar out of each other.
Luckily for him, he soon learned that living tar pounding wasn't the only thing he could do. Turns out, One For All did not originate with All Might. It had been passed down 8 times until it arrived at Deku, with each inheritant also carrying the previous user's natural quirk as well.
Like Black Whip, which lets him manifest crazy long and strong energy tendrils to tie enemies up and swing around the city, or shoot one out of his mouth, just like our girl Fruppy.
And Danger Sense, which gives him a minor reactive precognition.
AKA, he's Spider-Man. Not even a reach. The manga guy's like the biggest Spidey fan ever.
He can also produce a smoke screen to mask his presence, float in midair, or store kinetic energy over time with
Like that. By storing up enough, he can even match All Might's max power without any recoil to boot. Strong enough to change the weather and create city block-sized tornadoes with a single punch.
And he's even stronger with his newest quirk, Gear Shift, which allows him to increase the speed of an object anytime he touches it. In conjunction with the power of All For One, he can use this to warp reality itself. Deku can go toe-to-toe with arch villains like Shigaraki, who moves fast enough to react to and catch laser beams with his bare hands.
But nothing could prepare him for All Might's archenemy, the shadowy leader of the League of Villains, All for One.
All Might only ever showed his young pupil kindness and support, but that couldn't change the absolutely crushing pressure Dick felt at every moment.
Even classically trained dickhead Bakugo came to help his teammate out when he needed it. Like when they teamed up to share One for All and punch an island-sized hole in the clouds 2,000 miles high.
Just goes to show that even One for All isn't a one-man army. Deku's true strength comes from his teamwork between himself and his friends.
And with their help, Deku will surely become that beacon of hope he dreamt about as a child.
One hero for all mankind. This episode is sponsored by Mint Mobile.
This holiday season, the best deal in wireless can only be found at Mint Mobile.
Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months for free.
As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint starting kits.
Mobile.
Get 6 wireless plan. Mint
Mobile.
Hey, honey.
Your mom's arrived. You need to grab a pumpkin pie.
Anna.
Who does a holiday without a fresh pumpkin pie? And grab an uncured ham without the added sugar.
Magic! You know it, you love it, and in the world of Black Clover, it doesn't come from a box you bought at a tacky West Hollywood costume shop. Everyone's got it.
Mana is the source of all magic, a supernatural energy found in the air and in living beings. Except living beings whose names are Asta.
Not only neither do I, and you don't hear me crying about it.
Yes, you do, all of the time. But Asta had a dream. Despite his lack of magic, he and his best friend Yuno promised each other one of them would rise to the throne of the greatest military position in the land, the Wizard King. Wizard King? Really, guys? Sometimes they call it Magic Emperor, but we all know what they mean.
So, he dedicated himself to getting swole as all hell. In a world of nerds, he would be its lone jock god, shoving every last wizard into a locker until they crowned him king.
But huge, frightening vectorals on a tiny, screaming goblin child weren't enough on its own. He needed something powerful enough to shut down his opponent's magic.
He needed the 5-leaf clover grimoire.
Essentially a book of spells, a grimoire will...
So I gotta hope the Packers the Packers lose 2 times and the Cowboys lose 2 times to get my #1 seed. I've lost 2 times in my division.
Choose its user and float beside their wielder at all times.
And Asta was lucky enough to receive the Una Reverse card of Grimoires. The 5-leaf clover can harness the power of anti-magic, which will literally nullify the effects of other magic spells. Almost like wizard kryptonite. Let the locker stuffing commence! Haha, get nerds!
It wasn't long before Asta was accepted into one of the 9 squads of Clover Kingdom's Magic Knights, the Black Bulls, filled with lazy drunkards, antisocial otakus, and literal sociopaths.
My kind of people!
Yeah.
Mostly. But much like with Asta, you shouldn't judge a grimoire by its cover. And soon they were all working together and kicking ass like a family should.
Asta harnesses the power of anti-magic by summoning swords imbued with it from the grimoire. Normally, these swords would quickly drain the mana from anyone foolish enough to wield them, but Asta does not have any mana, turning his greatest weakness into a one-of-a-kind strength.
He's got his classic Demon Slayer, an enormous greatsword which cuts through spells with its edge and deflects them with its flank. Or the Demon Dweller, which can also absorb and copy magic, then toss it right back to sender.
I think my personal favorite is the more complex Demon Destroyer, which severs the relationship between a spell's cause and effect, countering the effects of its magic. This could result in anything from healing a village that was inflicted with poison to preventing reincarnation.
Yeah, okay, some of these can get a little heady. I personally prefer keeping it simple, like using anti-magic telekinesis to surf on your sword through the sky.
It's worth noting that these swords are made specifically for countering magical attacks and sources of mana. The swords will act as though blunted when striking non-magical foes, more akin to giant clubs than actual blades. Not entirely inconsistent with real-life greatswords.
But none of that's even close to as cool as his deadliest sword, the Demon Slasher, a katana as black as the pits of hell and twice as badass.
This one actually does cut like a sword, but it's complicated. It lets Asta actually select what he does and does not want to cut, only affecting his target while leaving anything else unharmed.
Okay, at this point, isn't that just magic?
There's tornado creek. He was came to
Shut up, nerds. The nerd talk was getting on my nerves.
Have you been drinking?
No. If you're smelling something, it might be my spiked eggnog body wash.
Hopeless or trapped, detachment, fatigue, and more.
Working on a show like Death Battle every week definitely wipes me over.
Shut up now, you
Be
nerds.
It's Death Battle. Then we run the data
Now,
through all
Death Battle.
possibilities.
It's time for a Death Battle!
Sword that big? He's gotta be crazy strong. I'm gonna have to rely on more than just my power to take him down.
Just gotta hit him really hard.
Just got it really hard. There, that's nice.
Man, this guy can give even luck a run for his money.
PvP's out.
Aren't swords supposed to be sharp?
Aren't swords supposed to be sharp?
His speed isn't slowed by his sword's weight at all. Gotta hamper his movements and get that book out of his hands. He felt me!
I just love that. Wait, aren't swords meant to be sharp?
Now it's my turn.
Wait, are you not using magic? What kind of magic emperor would I be if I can't beat a guy like this? Detroit
I don't like you having weapons. Not a fair fight. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just do that one YouTuber I watched today. So like I think he needs some zone cut, like for some more coverage, but he does also need player recognition. And so. Hybrid. Okay, thank you for not giving me any play recognition, it seems. And you look, his play recognition did not go up. Okay. What?
I don't know what Detroit is, but I've had enough of it. I'm ending this clip! Hit me with all you've got, because I'm never going down!
Whoa, this is a Super Saiyan battle. Hey, this man's just out here being Scooter Man.
No use not going all out anymore. I just gotta hit him really hard.
Yeah, it's gone Super Saiyan now.
You wanted my best? Here it is! 1,000,000%! I did it.
American fucked it. But
poor Deku. He tried his best, but Asta just...
I'm gonna pause it real quick. Did they not point out the fact that his those swords that he just used to kill Deku are literally just giant clubs if they aren't used on magic users? And those aren't that goddamn demon sword destroyer or whatever katana. Those are those other swords that do nothing if you're not a magic user. So he shouldn't have won. I'm out here flat out saying he should not have won. That. Come on, Death Battle. Come on, Death Battle. That is. You even point out that his swords, that those swords that he just used, are just giant clubs if it isn't a magic user. Deku is not a magic user. I'm pretty sure I'm about to be the only person in the comment section who's about to type, did they not first say that all those other swords that aren't the katanas can't do shit if that isn't a magic user?
Shoved him into that great big locker in the sky.
Both Deku and Asta were fairly evenly matched melee fighters without any specific abilities to give one an easy edge over the other. Though, to be fair, the variety of quirks Deku inherited from past users of One For All did make him more versatile and unpredictable.
Plus, quirks are biological mutations, not connected to some supernatural energy source like mana.
Yeah.
So Asta's anti-magic powers were basically useless here.
And Deku was generally a smarter and more tactical fighter, but against Asta's incredible might, this time brawn beat brains.
Let's crunch some numbers! Deku's greatest feat of strength was splitting that enormous cloud formation with Bakugo.
By measuring the size of the island and comparing it to the clouds above, we can determine they dispersed over 63 trillion kilograms of water.
That's the weight of the Great Pyramid of Giza. 12,000 of them!
And required an energy of nearly 80 teratons of TNT per punch.
Let's compare that to Asta. But Tony's spell was going to be strong enough to vaporize a country the size of the Clover Kingdom.
We can use this map from the manga to estimate the size of Clover Kingdom to be about 500 kilometers in diameter, about half the length of Great Britain. Vaporizing a country of that size would require an energy of over 480 teratons of TNT, over 6 times greater than Deku's punch.
While Asta uses anti-magic, it isn't an automatic counter. It needs to be comparable in strength to the spell it's combating. And Asta's gotten way stronger since.
Asta was also quicker. Sure, scaling to Shigaraki would give Deku roughly light speed reaction time.
But Asta could dodge light in his sleep, and that's his base form. Even before transforming with Leapa to get...
Yeah. I already put that on. They somehow just screwed up their death battle there. I don't trust them anymore.